Hey guys, just got done watching Night of Champions, and as you can hear, I am tired. But I will say there was a lot of parts of this pay-per-view that was worth watching and extremely entertaining. The New Day, as much as I can't stand them, I will say this, they are practically the most entertaining heels ever, especially Xavier Woods and his trombone. I did not see the DQ coming though. I actually thought it was going to be a clean win with the Dudleys being the new tag team champs. But they decided to make it a DQ, and I'm okay with that. At least it wasn't a complete clean win with the New Day winning over the Dudley Boys, knowing how legendary they are. So in a way, good call. No problem with that at all. And the New Day was very entertaining, so it was an enjoyable match to watch. I will say that I'm glad that the Cosmic Wasteland actually did win the pre-show, because they needed to win more than the faces, and I think it was a decent match with a decent win, and Stardust really needed it as well as the Ascension needed it, so I'm happy that happened too. But the one match that everybody's been looking forward to since that disappointment that we saw on Raw was the match with the Divas. But I will say that the match really wasn't all that hyped up to be. It was pretty lackluster and slow. Probably because Charlotte was selling the ever-loving crap out of that injury. I applaud her for that. You don't see a lot of good selling anymore, and she sold it well. If she was really hurt, I'm sorry about that, but if she wasn't hurt, or if she was hurt, she was very much so selling the injury. It felt like Rocky. It was the Divas version of Rocky. That's how I felt when I was watching that match. And you don't feel that way when you watch matches anymore, especially with decent storylines that are built up like this. We knew that Nikki Bella surpassed AJ Lee's record, and she wanted to go further than that. And I'm kind of happy she did lose that belt, because she wasn't doing anything for it. But the one thing I am hoping when Raw comes around is that Charlotte actually dumps that Divas belt, retires it, and brings back the women's title. I hope that actually does happen. But I will tell you this, the ending after Charlotte won was the most emotional endings I have ever seen in my life. It was the emotional. I never thought that I would be crying after a match. I seriously was tearing up, wiping my eyes after a match, because it was that beautiful. Seeing Ric Flair in tears over his daughter winning the championship, seeing Becky Lynch giving her a hug, Paige somewhere in the corner just staring, clapping. You can kind of tell there was supposed to be a heel turn, but nothing happened. But it's brewing. You can tell Paige really didn't care. But either or, you just felt the emotion coming out of this, just coming off the screen. You can feel that emotion. You don't see that much anymore, and it was great to watch. I'm not gonna lie, it was, and it made me tear up. I never thought it would, but it actually did make me tear up. And I was wiping my eyes the whole time like a freaking baby. But either or, y'all know me. I'm a mark for anything Ric Flair, especially Charlotte. But moving on to the IC match. The IC match I didn't practically care for, but I will say that Ryback literally was bringing his A game when it came to Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens showed him who the true heel really is. So I honestly do have mad respect for Kevin Owens. I'm happy that Kevin Owens is now the new IC champion, because he can make that belt look good. He can make that belt look so good for just wearing it. And why I say that is that he doesn't really care much about the belt, but it actually will help you find a face that actually does and want to take the belt off of him. So I'm all for that. Now, moving on down to the 6-man tag. I hate to say it, but as much hype as it was around this match, it was lackluster at best. And the reason why I say that is that the biggest intrigue over this whole match itself was who the mysterious third guy was going to be. And honestly, I was thinking Samoa Joe or The Rock. We got neither. We ended up getting Chris Jericho. And automatically, when you see Chris Jericho, you're like, okay, the White's going to win. And that's sad. It's not because Chris Jericho's bad, because Jericho is known for putting people over. He's known for putting up-and-comers over. So just seeing Chris Jericho out there, we just automatically knew that the Wyatts was going to win. Plus, they needed this win. Now they have Braun Strowman on their side. The fact that they have that guy, they really do need the win. They need to be dominant here. Plus, there's huge rumors about having a character for Sister Abigail. So honestly, they gotta build up for that. They gotta make the Wyatts look great. They gotta make them look strong. But I never expected Chris Jericho to pull a heel move and literally hit the guys and walk on out. But that's Chris Jericho for you. He's unpredictable. But yeah, that was it wasn't a bad match. It was pretty fast-paced, very interesting. I never expected, though, for that to happen. I never expected Chris Jericho to pull a heel move and walk on out. But either or, it was great. I have no complaints about that. But moving on down to the match that everybody was pretty much waiting for. We were waiting for the main event match itself. We got the IC titles out the way. We got the tag titles out the way. And then now we have the U.S. titles and the World Heavyweight titles. And also we got the Divas title out the way. So we got the U.S. titles and we got the World Heavyweight titles that's pretty much on the line at this point. Now, as expected, and I wasn't sure they were going to switch around, we ended up having Sting's match last and John Cena's match first. John Cena's match with Seth Rollins impressed me highly. I never thought that Seth Rollins could be that fighting champion that we kind of wanted to see come out of him. And he has literally been proving people wrong. Sure, he's a chicken heel, but he doesn't show that whole chicken heel trait in the ring. He brought his A game. He literally had to have John Cena keep up with him. And honestly, those perfectly executed suplexes that he had with John Cena was amazing. It made Seth Rollins look so good. It made him look so good as a title holder, and that's what he needed. That's what he needed, not only for the belt, but he needed that for himself, to look like he was a great title holder. And honestly, John Cena don't look bad in this. Even though he lost the U.S. title, I kind of expected that, and I'm fine with that, because John Cena was fighting hard for that title, just like Seth Rollins was fighting to keep it. And it made both belts look good. It made the U.S. title look like it was worth something. And it told a great story in the ring, and the way they ended it was great. And yeah, I'm fine with John Cena being the champion. And I also thought it was funny how John Cena kind of did the attitude adjustment to the floor and threw him back in the ring and walked out. I kind of expected that. But then seeing Sting come out. Sting's match was okay at best. It wasn't horrible, but it was okay. Mainly because Seth Rollins was already running out of steam. He gave it his all, everything he could. But then in the very end, he pulled it off. He beat Sting. And I kind of knew that Sting wasn't going to come out the winner here. But the one thing that I didn't expect, besides Sheamus coming out trying to cash in, I kind of knew that too. I did not expect Kane to show his face. I never expected the Masked Kane to come out and beat up not only Seth Rollins, but Sheamus. Never expected that. And I know they're probably going to have something coming up for the next pay-per-view. Hell in a Cell is going to be coming up next month. And I wouldn't be surprised if they bring Kane back for that reason. But still, guys, great ending. It wasn't overdrawn. It wasn't overbooked. It was actually done very well. And I really was surprised that Kane showed his face. I love the emotion that Ric Flair had for his daughter when she won the title for the first time. There was a lot of heart going into this. Sure, some of the matches were slow at best, but honestly, they told a great story in the ring, and they're preparing you for the next pay-per-view, which is what they're supposed to do. It raised all expectations for me. I have no beef with this pay-per-view. I think this pay-per-view really did a good job. I really did. Even though the commentators did their best to try to bring up Ryback, and I will say this, Ryback versus Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens did his best with that match. He made that match look good. Ryback actually brought his A game. The chemistry in the ring was great. But Ryback could not sell an injury to save his life. He tried at first, he was doing a good job, but then all of a sudden he forgot that he was injured, and then he kept using his arm, doing these ridiculous feats, stretching his shoulder out when his shoulder's supposed to be damaged. He forgot really quickly that he had an injury and he was supposed to be selling it. Charlotte sold it all the way through. He only sold it maybe a fraction of the way through. But regardless of that, Kevin Owens did bring his A game. He made that match look good, even though Ryback can't sell to save his life. And I know the commentators did everything they could to make him look good. Oh, he has a really bad shoulder injury. No, dude, I think he forgot he had one. But besides all that, I'm happy that Kevin Owens is champion. And I still have no beef with the pay-per-view. Even though you had little minor hiccups here and there, it was still an overall good pay-per-view. And for those that want to watch it, I suggest you do. But y'all, I want to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment in the comment section below or send me a video response on your thoughts about this pay-per-view. This is Naturegirl 30 signing off. Peace out. I'll see you at Raw. Later.